What's going on here? The Black Hokage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I know a lot of you have been waiting for my thoughts on God of War. I briefly shared them on the previous podcast, but I know a lot of you missed that one. Maybe it didn't hit your sub box, I don't know, but I'll leave a link in the description box below. Some very entertaining conversations happened in that episode, conversations that led to this video. Before we get into this video, please be sure to tap the bell icon after you subscribe. Recently, I've seen a lot of complaints in the comments about not knowing that I've dropped videos. The way YouTube works now is subscribing only gets you occasional notifications determined by an algorithm. If you want to guarantee that you see my videos or any of your other favorite content creators, please tap the bell icon after you subscribe. It benefits both you and I. Do you know the difference between a good and a great meal? The great meals are made with love. You can tell that person truly loves creating things for others to enjoy. That's how I describe God of War, a labor of love from Sony Santa Monica. From the moment you start this game chopping trees, you could tell this is going to be something different. First thing that caught my eye were the visuals. The change to Midgard was a nice change of pace. The vibrant colors and the various locations kept things interesting. I originally began my playthrough on a launch PS4, and although it sounded like a NASA spaceship ready to take off, visually the game was still stunning and the frame rate stable. The solid optimization allowed me to focus on what really mattered: the addition of Atreus, the changes to Kratos, and the gameplay.
You next!
Kratos and Atreus are the stars of the show. The mother is passed, and this leads them on an adventure to the highest peak in the land to spread her ashes. Along the way, the two meet a large cast of interesting characters, face obstacles, and they learn each other's ways. The game starts off with Kratos speaking to Atreus as if he were a student, but along the way they learn each other's ways and then they start to change each other's perspectives. My favorite moments being the side missions. Side missions in this game were great because they don't feel like side missions. The main campaign is honestly fairly easy. The most fun and challenging fights came from exploring the game's large map. I also enjoyed the side missions because I noticed that's where Kratos dropped the most gems.
Look, should we try talking to them?
No,
But maybe they need help.
they do not stop us, so they do not concern us. They
maybe-
do not concern
That's a
us.
valuable lesson. Mind your business. It's a valuable lesson.
Traveling often meant taking a boat from point A to B. During the journey, stories are told and life lessons are taught to Atreus. One of my favorite moments being Kratos teaching the son the importance of minding your own business. I damn near stood up out my chair and screamed hallelujah. I think what makes the dialogue so great is the sound voice acting. Kratos' new voice actor kills it, and the person who plays Atreus did awesome as well. No more evident than that is the numerous set pieces sprinkled throughout the game. The range of emotion is there, and it should be noted.
Power of this weapon, any weapon, comes from here. But only when tempered by this. By the discipline, the self-control of the one who wields it. That is where the true strength of a warrior lies.
When you're not subjected to dialogue and set pieces, it's back to what Kratos does best: beating that ass. This is where you'll notice one of the biggest changes. God of War is no longer a button masher mixed in with QTEs, but instead a much more precise hack and slash game. You'll feel less god and more human in this game compared to the previous games. Kratos feels heavier on his feet, sidestepping is important, and so is mastering the perfect parry. Combat honestly feels like a mix between The Witcher 3 and Dark Souls, and as someone who wasn't a fan of the Souls series, I can say that I did enjoy the combat. It's not hard like Souls, but I guess I'm comparing them because like the pacing of those games, especially during the exploration sections, enemies will randomly jump out at you and try to catch you off guard. Thank God that they didn't change the brutality in this game. Kratos may now move like an old man, but he is still snatching wigs and cutting people down to size. The brutal nature of the finishers in this game never gets old. I love the fact that you can juggle people in this game too. If you learn how to use the right weapons and Atreus arrows at the right time, you can pull off some cool stuff. Another big change is God of War is now an RPG. It's nothing mind-blowing or game-changing, but it is different. As far as RPG elements go, what you get here is pretty standard stuff. There's a leveling system in the game, and everything you do will net you XP. That XP can be spent on armor and weapon upgrades as well as upgrades for your son. At first, it felt a bit tacked on, but late game, you start to see how much upgrading your gear matters. I went from getting one-shotted by certain enemies to hardly taking any damage late game. That's actually my one complaint about this game. It's called God of War, but I never really felt like a god. I get Kratos is older, but it was certain enemies that weren't boss fights that would one-shot kill me, and it was frustrating. It just felt conflicting.
Is that the angle I want? Let's try that. Yo, shut your little ass up.
That being said, overall, I enjoyed the game. There were notable changes needed to a game that's the 7th in the franchise if we're counting the PSP games. Also, I have to commend Sony Santa Monica because the game is optimized. Like I said earlier, your PS4 might sound like it's about to take off, but at least the game didn't sacrifice a smooth experience for visuals. I have no issue recommending this game. I think it should be in everyone's PS4 collection. Let me know what you thought about God of War in the comments below if you played the game, and I'll see you guys on the next review. And thanks for watching my video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you'll never miss another video. Also, consider pledging my Patreon. It helps keep the lights on. There's a link in the description box below. Peace.